What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jay if you're new here, and welcome to episode 3 of Why My Life is a Netflix Show. And this episode is going to be about how my school and my district itself is literally a shit show. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Back when I was in kindergarten, I would get bullied by my literal teachers for the stupidest things. Literally, they would find, literally anything to try and, yell at me about. And by anything, listen to this. So the one time I was in my kindergarten class and I was just minding my own business and we were working on something and I literally wrote my name with a J, how I always would. And this bitch had the fucking nerve to look at me and go you shouldn't always write your J's like that. Why do you always write your J's like that? They look weird. Girl, what? What do you want from a literal kindergartner? Pitch perfection? Because that's not going to happen. I am not perfect. I am not perfect by any means. But just wait. Because this ain't about just how teachers are literal bullies sometimes. This is also about bomb threats, gun threats, all that shit. And even at the end, me getting suspended, which I'm not going to talk too much about because I already talked quite a bit about that in my previous, vlogs. So if you haven't seen them already, I highly recommend you go check them out. But I will talk about it a little bit at the end of this video, by the way. I guess it is important to mention that I have always been the quiet type. I am not the type to speak up when something happens. I am definitely not the type to tell anyone off. I was that type, but now I kind of just don't give a fuck. And you'll see how all of that comes into play. Don't mind my acne. I know my acne is bad. We're just not going to talk about it. That's why I'm putting on some concealer. But when I was younger, and I still am, I was a people pleaser. I'm just not as bad of a people pleaser as as I was. But basically, whenever, I would get, because I got bullied in school a lot growing up. And I was one of the quiet kids. Still am. I don't talk to people, really. I keep to myself. And I really just sit in the back of the class whenever I can. I'm also very socially awkward, so I am not good at making friends at all. And all of the fucking trauma that I have from a child to now definitely does not help when it comes to making friends. So I did end up making tons of friends in elementary school. And I remember around my 4th grade year was the year where everyone kind of I talked to almost everyone in my class basically. And we were all chill. And my 4th grade teacher was a cunt, to say the least. She was literally a cunt. The definition of one. She would yell at anyone for any random thing. And I was in a trio friend group with 2 girls that sat next to me. And I'm not even going to give them names because this is just going to be a quick part of this video. So I'm not really going to sit here and worry about giving someone who I'm just going to mention briefly a name. It's not like they hold really any true relevance. But basically, we sat next to each other. It was the 3 of us. And they would always pass notes to each other and laugh. And I remember they would talk shit about me. And me being me, I was tired of that shit. I'm alright. So I asked the teacher if I could move my seat because I was not trying to deal with that shit. What you talking shit for? The fuck? I wasn't trying to deal with that shit. So I asked my teacher if I could move seats, and she was like, no. And I'm girl. And I was alright, whatever. I'm just gonna leave it at that because, as I said, I am not I wasn't the confrontational type. Now I am. I really don't give a shit. But back then, I would not say shit to nobody at all. I would just hold everything inside and be yeah, everything's fine. I'm totally not going to go off on this bitch. And I still swear on this to this day that one bathroom in that school was literally haunted. Just hear me out. And I'm not really the type to believe in like ghosts and all that shit. But let me tell you why I think that bathroom in 4th grade was haunted. So basically, our school obviously has multiple bathrooms all around it. And in our 4th grade class, so like the like kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, they have bathrooms in their class. But once you get into 4th and 5th in that elementary school, I don't know if they still do this because it's been like 6-7 years since I was in elementary school, but so they would have like bathrooms in their class, and then 4th and 5th graders, because that school only went up to 5th grade, would have to walk to one of the bathrooms in the hallways, which were in the hall that the 4th and 5th grade classes were in, because all of the classrooms in the hallways, well, each hallway was like one grade, if you know what I mean. Like, there would be all the 2nd grade rooms in one hall, all the 3rd grade halls in one hall, all the 3rd grade classes in one hall. You know what I mean. So we would always walk to the bathroom. And our teacher obviously didn't let us have our phones because we were in like 4th grade at the time, obviously. And so I remember I would go to the bathroom like once or twice a day, because it's not like middle school. Like, you were in the same class the entire day. So I would go to the bathroom a few times a day, and if I had to pee or something, I would pee. But also the main reason why I just went to the bathroom so much was just to chill on my phone, because I was not trying to get caught with that shit by that bitch ass teacher. So I would just go in there and go on my phone, play some games on my phone. I remember I was like filming like Musical.lys in the bathroom. I know. Not only is that really fucking embarrassing, but that just makes me feel old, because Musical.ly, oh my god, I remember that shit. Now there's TikTok. It's like, it's just crazy to think about. But anyway. And in that bathroom, at first, I didn't really notice anything. I was probably either A, too busy on my phone, or B, nothing like really happened at first. But eventually, after like a few months of going in that bathroom, I started to realize that I would always hear noises from the vents. And I was like, alright, could be anything. But then the one time I was in the bathroom, and I locked myself in the stall. I was on my phone as usual, and I think I was also peeing too. Don't know why the fuck that's relevant, but you get the point. I was in the bathroom, and there was nobody else in the bathroom, and I was just chilling, and all of a sudden I hear someone talking, literally from right outside my stall. I was like, who the fuck is that? Because that bathroom door was loud as hell. Like, you would have heard that shit opening. And I'm trying to remember, like, the whole, like, layout, like, of that school, because I have not stepped foot in that school since I was in 5th grade. I'm almost a senior in high school. So it's been a hot minute. But I remember thinking, what the fuck, I would have heard someone. And then I, like, try and, like, peek through the crack of the stall door, and I don't see literally anyone. And, like, I heard them clear as day. Like, they were in front of my stall. They were not in the hall. That fucking rhymed. Anyway, moving on. And so I'm, like, getting kind of weirded out. And so I'm like, alright, yeah, I think it's time to go back to class. So I wash my hands, go back to class, whatever. And then the next time I went to the bathroom, I remember, like, someone, like, banging, like, on my stall. And I was like, and my scared ass, because I get scared easily, I froze for a minute, and then I was like, alright, we gotta see who the hell is, like, banging on my stall. So I opened the stall door, and there's literally no one there. And I look, and all, like, the bathroom doors, like, the stall doors are open, like, nobody is in the bathroom but me. I washed my hands, and I didn't even dry my hands. I booked it out of that bathroom. I'm like, I'm not doing this shit today. Not today, Satan. And I was like, I started to like low-key tell my friends about it because like, of course I was gonna tell my friends. Like, I'm in 4th grade, I'm 10 years old, some scary shit's going on, of course I'm gonna tell my friends. Like, I told them everything. And then word started getting around the school. And at first, nobody knew who was saying this shit, and everyone thought it was just, like, rumors. But, like, well, at least the teachers just thought someone was spreading rumors to try and scare everyone to not use the bathrooms and piss their pants. Literally. That's literally what they thought. I don't think they ever knew it was me, though. And it's not like I was spreading rumors. Like, no, like, this shit actually happened. Like, the fuck. And then my 5th grade year was pretty uneventful. I'm not gonna lie, it was really uneventful. Shit was just kind of boring. I was in band, I was a band kid, and then I quit. I forgot why I quit, but I quit band. Before I knew it, my 5th grade year was over, and it was time for me to go to middle school, which I was dreading because I heard, like, because I was doing research, and plus I have 2 older sisters. And even though one didn't even finish high school because she had a kid, obviously, like, she knew, like, how, like, it all works. And she was like, yeah, like, people really click up and everything, and, yeah, people become bitches. They start to become bitches. And so I'm like, alright, that's gonna be fun. And before I knew it, middle school started up. Everything was fine at first. Talk to people, you know. And then I met my then friend group because we're not friends anymore. Well, we are, except for like a few of the girls that were in the group, but which is a whole different story for a whole nother time. I think that actually might be episode 4, just because it's just so out of pocket. And what this series is me telling you guys out of pocket shit that happened in my life. And so I was like, I'm not really trying to look for friends, but I guess if they happen, they happen. But then I switched up on myself, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna look for friends. And as I said, I met that friend group, and everything was going fine, except that friend group was toxic as hell. But as I said, I'm not gonna get too into it, because that's about to be episode 4 for y'all. But that friend group was toxic, like, as I said, like, we would fight all the time and everything, and you guys will hear more about that in the next episode of this series. But it was just so toxic. And that whole school, like, people, my sister wasn't kidding when people say people really click up. Like, no, like, everyone was tight, and then there was me and my friend group, and that friend group was just a nightmare. And it's not like I'm about to go up to somebody like, yo, can I sit with y'all? Instead of sitting with these fools at their lunch table. They're not fools, but at the time, that's probably what I would have said, you know? And so I would not really talk to them as much because them being toxic, I just try to, like, bite my tongue. And even though I was in a lot of the fights, I just sometimes would just go quiet because it's like, I'm not about to deal with this shit anymore. I'm seriously not finna deal with this shit. Around February of my 6th grade year, you know, I was kind of excited for 7th grade because I was like, alright, this year has been pretty wild. I got into a relationship with, drumroll, ow, that hurt me. That hurt my, metacarpal.
Bitch, are you dumb?
Pardon me?
Are you dumb?
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb.
Think
Are
you're
you,
dumb.
like, medically speaking, are you, like...
Like, I'm not trying to be mean. Like, are you dumb?
Are you... I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb. I think... Is she... Do you think
Oh,
she's dumb?
One of the girls in the friend group. And she was the most toxic out of all of them. Because the rest weren't toxic. Okay, except for one. Except for one, because she did some horrible shit to someone. And I can't even look at her the same anymore. She's absolutely disgusting. But anyway, enough about that. And no, I'm not going to say what happened because it's a really serious matter and it's not my business to tell. I'm just saying that friend group was fucked up. I think you guys get it. And so I remember our relationship was toxic as hell. And then I had people in the friend group and even out of the friend group come up to me and be like, yo, like, she's, like, talking shit. Like, she's about to be like, oh, I want to break up with her. I want to break up with her so bad. And so it's like, alright, fine. Because I was low-key not fucking with that relationship anymore. I was starting to catch feelings for one of the other girls in the friend group. who goes by they, them now, so that's what I'm going to refer to them as they. Because I didn't just remember that till now, so I'm so sorry. And obviously I'm not going to say any names, but if I was saying names, I would not be using their dead name, but still, even though they don't go by their dead name, I still don't want y'all to know who it is, because, like, people who know me and, like, knew me in middle school know exactly who I'm talking about, but still. Because I don't want to be, like, disrespectful like that, you know what I mean? So, I started catching feelings for them, and I was like, you know what, I'm just about to break it off with the bitch that I was with, the very toxic one. I was like, I'm just about to break it off because, like, I'm catching feelings for someone else. I'm not fucking with this relationship literally anymore. Like, it's just so toxic. Like, I can't be myself. So, adios, I guess. And then when I tried to break up, and keep in mind, like, all she did was literally, like, gaslight me the whole entire time. Which, by the way, when I do episode 4, there'll be, like, a kind of, like, you guys will, like, hear, like, the whole story time about that relationship, too. So, it's probably about to be a long-ass episode, but, as I said, that's for next episode. Anyway, and I try to break it off, but once again, the gaslighting. Oh, but I love you, and no, I never said that. And then, what do you know, a few days later, after I try to break things off, she texts me, she's like, hey, like, I think we should be done, and I'm like, about time, bitch. And then she's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, why are you saying sorry? Like, do you think I care? Because I kind of don't care. Like, I wanted this to happen low-key. And I tried telling you, but, you know, you just wanted to fucking gaslight me yet again. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. Fuck this shit. And it was the whole, but can we still stay friends card? Like, you treat me like literal shit, and yet you want to stay friends, yet you also cheated on me with one of the other girls that was in that friend group. We love that for me. Totally. And I ended up getting into a huge fight with her. I forgot what it was, like, about, and then I just completely cut her off after that fight. That was, like, what, July 2019? That's how long ago this shit was. And then in 7th grade, here's where my school really fucks up. At first, I didn't know why they didn't fire this fucker, but then I ended up finding out why, which you guys will find out soon. But basically, my gym teacher, which was the same one I had for my 6th grade year, ended up getting pregnant, and when it was time for her to go on maternity leave, they obviously needed a substitute to cover her class. And I was thinking, oh, we're probably going to get some, like, normal-ass female gym teacher. No.
Why the fuck would that happen? It's a croissant.
It was a male, and he had, like, subbed for, like, a few of my other classes before, and I always got weird vibes from him. You already know where this is going, don't you? And I always got weird vibes, but it was like, I'm gonna try and keep my distance, you know, because when someone gives me weird vibes, I'm not really trying to fuck with it. Like, I'm trying to distance myself. I'm trying to be out of that bitch. But that clearly didn't end up happening. So, the first day of having him as our substitute, I can't really remember if anything happened, but slowly over time, that's when we started to notice something was not right here. Like, something was really wrong. And at first, I didn't notice it, but everyone was like, do you guys see, like, the way, like, he looks us up and down and everything? And then I started to pick up on it. And the one day we have gym, and the girls, well, some of the girls would change in the locker room, like, not, like, in the, like, cubby things, but, like, out in the, like, walkway thing. And there was a window in our gym teacher's office that looked directly into the fucking locker room. And all of a sudden, tell me why me and my friends look at that damn window and we see this goddamn 40-year-old fucking looking gym teacher watching us change. And so I was like, fuck this. And then that's when we started to pay more attention, because we're like, okay, yeah, something's really wrong here. So we started to pay more attention, and then we started to pick up on the fact that he would never, like, he would not fuck with the boys. Like, he would not fuck with the boys. But he would always be, like, trying to be, like, right next to us girls. He literally, like, would brush against us sometimes. And I caught him looking at me multiple times in fucking weird ways. And so did the other girls. Like, they'd be like, oh yeah, he looked at me that way too. He looked at me that way too. But wait. There's more. It gets worse. Just trust me. So one day we have gym as usual, and me and the girls are just chilling. And we were in the fitness center. And in the fitness center was, like, obviously, like, a whole bunch of, like, workout equipment and everything. And there was also a TV. Well, tell me why this motherfucker decided to really fuck up that day. Let's just put it that way. So I am just chilling, and me and the girls were working out, obviously, because, you know, we were trying to get fit. And then all of a sudden we just happened to look over at the TV, but not before one of our friends comes up to us and was like, yo, he has a boner. And I was like, oh, hell no. I looked at everyone. I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I'm not trying to stay here. And right before I was about to go to the bathroom, this motherfucker, I can't even make this shit up. He accidentally cast porn to the TV. In front of a whole bunch of 7th graders. We're like 12, 13. And he realized what he did, and he, like, obviously, like, got off of it and disconnected from the TV. And all of us girls, like, were like, what the fuck? And it was only us girls that day in the locker room. Not the locker room, the fitness center. Because sometimes the boys and girls would be separated. And we're all looking at each other like, oh, fuck, no, fuck this shit. And eventually, we get the news that he was caught recording some of the girls. Us not knowing that our principal at the time was a literal pedophile and got caught watching child porn.
Oh, you want to get fucked up. You want to get...
But us not knowing that our principal was also a pedophile and he got caught watching CP in his own fucking office on his school laptop. First of all, that's just not okay in general. But, like, especially on school grounds or around kids, like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You know what I mean? So, that's why he didn't get fired. But my principal did end up getting fired. I can't remember if he got fired or actually just resigned. But either way, he was gone. So we had, like, a, fill-in fucking principal. I don't even know how that shit works. I don't really care, honestly, because my district fucking sucks anyway.
Well, no fucking shit.
Oh wait, I forgot to tell you guys about the bomb threat in 6th grade. I'll get to that in a minute, one thing at a time. But this fucking teacher ends up becoming the literal board of education.
What was the reason? What was the reason? What was the reason?
But he got caught recording the girls. How the fuck does that happen? How? Like, how the fuck does this... How? How are you gonna literally catch someone recording a bunch of underage girls and then make them the board of education? And it's not like it happened out of school, and even then, it's not okay, like, regardless of where the fuck it happens. But even, like, what? The fuck? And he still is board of education to this day, and I don't give a fuck if he sees this. Fuck you. Fucking creep. The fuck? But rewind a little bit to 6th grade, because I forgot to tell you guys about the bomb threat. So I was just chilling in, I want to say, well, it was study hall. It was 9th period. It was the last period of the day. And we were chilling in study hall. and which my study hall was in my English teacher's room, and it was me and one of my close friends. We're still friends to this day, we just don't talk much. But when I would be at my second school, I would see her, which I still go to my second school, it's just I can't because I'm suspended right now from all of school property. You know the vibes. Anyway, and we were just talking about how I think my crush likes me back, and she's like, dude, she told me she literally likes you back. And so I'm like about to freak out when all of a sudden the announcements come on. And I forgot who made the announcement, but it was like one of the assistant principals or something. And this was the end of my 6th grade year. And they were like, we are evacuating immediately to the middle school. You guys will be dismissed by hallways. Because just like in the elementary school, the each grade had its own hallway. And 8th grade went first because there's like a bridge that connects the middle school to the high school, and it's on like the second floor, and we were on the second floor at the time. And so 8th grade goes, 7th grade goes, and then finally 6th grade's called to go. And when I walked into them halls, it was so quiet, you could literally hear a pin drop, and me and my friends are all looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on?
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Be so for real, like, what the fuck is going on? And my chest started to hurt. Like, I was like scared because like this shit had never happened before, so I was so confused. I was like, are we literally about to die or something? The fuck? Like, the fuck? And we end up making it to the high school auditorium, and we're chilling there. And then eventually, right before we are allowed to go on the buses, which our dismissal time in the middle school was 2:14, and the high school dismissal time is 2:20. It was like going on like 3 o'clock at that point. And I was like, yeah, there's like no way like we're getting out of here on time. Like, we're fucking stuck here. This shit sucks. And then eventually we got out, but right before we got out, we ended up finding out that one of the students literally threatened to fucking bomb the school. Crazy shit right there. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like flipping out. I'm trying to call my mom because obviously I have a phone. So like I'm trying to like call my mom, and I text my mom like, yo, the school almost just got blown the fuck up. Like, and I wasn't even trying to make a joke out of it because that shit's really not funny at all. But I was just like, yo, the school almost got blown up. I'm about to be coming home though. And as soon as we all step outside, I'm walking with my friends and everything, and we're like, sorry, my alarm. We were like freaking the fuck out. I was like, dude, what the fuck happened? And there was like a news van. There was SWAT. There was police dogs. There was canines everywhere. I'm like, oh, the dogs are cute. Literally, I remember trying to distract myself from what was actually going on. I'm like, oh, the dogs are cute. There was a fucking news van. I think I just mentioned that, but yeah, there was a fucking news van. Like, that shit was crazy. 8th grade year, nothing, quite literally, basically nothing happened because I was doing virtual school, because in the middle of my 7th grade year, that's when COVID hit. And we all went on lockdown. And then 8th grade year, I did virtual. Freshman year is when my school strikes again. Of course. And so I was a freshman, and I was going through, like, it was the beginning of the school year too, and I was going through a lot. There was just a lot of unfortunate events just repeatedly happening, and I quite literally couldn't catch a break. And I would go down to the guidance counselor's office and just kind of talk. And then I remember this day like it was yesterday. I remember the date and everything too. It was November 4th, 2021. And as routine, I don't know where like half of my brushes are, so that's why I'm using the same brush for everything, by the way. I went down to the guidance counselor's office, and I started like venting about everything going on because there was just so much going on. And I was not trying to keep that shit inside, which was weird because I would always kind of keep shit inside, but I low-key started opening up more around that time. But she was like, alright, like, we gotta, like, make a plan. And she's like, I'm gonna call crisis services. So she ends up calling crisis services on me. And then she's like, you're not going to the hospital, but we are gonna have, like, a meeting or something. Actually, no, she didn't even tell me that we were gonna have a meeting. So basically, I'm just chilling in 8th period, which was pre-algebra, and the high school only has 8 periods, so it was the last period of the day. And, you know, the phone rings, and I'm like, not thinking anything of it, because I'm obviously not the only person in the fucking class. And then the teacher looks at me, she's like, yeah, like, you gotta go to the office. And I'm like, the office? Did I get in trouble or something? And I'm like, no, because there's nothing I could have done that could have got me in trouble. So I was really confused, but I nonetheless ended up going down to the office, and they were like, while I was walking there, I was like right by the doors to leave the school, and I see my mom, and I'm like, why the fuck is my mom here? And so I didn't say anything. I just kind of like just walked into the office, and they're like, have a seat, we'll be with you in a minute. So I'm like, alright, what the fuck? And they were like, and then we got brought to the conference room, and the conference room is like this big ass room with like this big ass fucking table for like conferences. Whether it be school conferences or like hearings, whatever, because that's also where I just had my hearing at for me getting suspended. But anyway, and I get put in there, so does my mom, and they sit us down, and they're like, firstly, I gotta ask you if you're on drugs, because the way your head's down and your body language, I'm like, no, I'm not on fucking drugs, what the fuck? What the fuck? And they were like, alright. And so I forgot how they said it, but they were like, you can't like come back to school until you get evaluated. And I'm like, I'm not trying to stay overnight in a fucking hospital, like, at all. Like, y'all are fucked. Like, you got me fucked up. And long story short, I forgot what ended up happening. Basically, I never went to go get evaluated, and the school ended up just saying, like, don't come back until you're, like, healthy enough to come back. And they were like, we'll put you on homeschool, like, we'll get you a tutor, everything. Well, long story short, that tutor never fucking happened. Until, well, I was out for 5 months. I was out from November 4th to March 31st, 2022. And I remember that, like, they didn't get me a tutor until, quite literally, the last, like, month or so of me being out of school. Then when my grades, like, started to, like, slip again, I was like, alright, fuck it. I'm just gonna go back to school. Even though I definitely didn't want to, I was just trying to pass. So I was like, alright, the only reason why I'm going back to school is so I can pass my freshman year. I got all of my credits except for gym and art. And so I just took music the next year, which is my sophomore year, which is last year. Because I'm a junior. Thank God, because I'm low-key not trying to spend too much longer in fucking school. I hate that place, but the only reason why I didn't drop out was so I could do EMS. Because if I dropped out or did homeschooling, I couldn't do EMS. And I've said this before, and I will say it again, I'd rather be an EMS than not. Then my sophomore year, a lot ended up happening too. So at the beginning of the year, I ended up getting my bus switched. I forgot what for, honestly, and I really don't care. But yeah, I ended up getting my bus switched. And then after I got my bus switched, I remember this, like, middle school principal, like, giving me shit and trying to make, like, whatever happened seem like it was my fault. I think it was, like, I was, like, getting fucking harassed or something. I can't even remember. But anyway. And then more into my sophomore year, about January-ish, I was in a very rough spot in my then relationship. and I was down in the health office sleeping constantly, or if I wasn't sleeping, I was with the counselor. So I was just in a really rough spot. And then the one day, me and my now ex ended up getting into a fight over the phone. And so my ass, who was sitting in the health office at the time, grabs her shit, runs out of the health office, and I'm trying to run to the cafeteria because he had me so manipulated that I thought I was the one in the wrong, when in reality, don't be a cheating hoe. Anyway, so I was like trying to like low-key run to the cafeteria to apologize because I thought I was convinced I did something. So I am like running to the cafeteria, and the nurse is literally fucking chasing me. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm literally running with a backpack on my back. Like, that's how fucking dedicated I was. I was running with the whole ass backpack on my back, and my phone's about to die, I think. Okay, no, it's not. Okay, it's not. We're good. And so I'm running with this big ass backpack, and then eventually she catches up to me, grabs me by the arm, and takes me to the fucking counseling center. And I just remember sitting there popping off, and then I got sent home that day. I wasn't like in trouble or anything, but I got sent home. And I got sent home a few times my sophomore year, but when I came back my freshman year, I also got sent home a lot. Just be like, you're too unstable. Go the fuck home. Peace out, Girl Scout. And that's what I would do. I would go the fuck home. And sophomore year, I would skip a lot too, and I was like, there ain't no way I'm about to make it into the vocational school with the way my fucking grades are, but somehow, obviously, I popped off, and I made it into the vocational school, where I do EMS at, and I honestly miss that place so much right now. But it's about to be a long ass time before I can see that place again. My boyfriend's literally spamming me. I'll respond to him in a minute. But basically, I just want to go back. What the fuck does my contour look like that? Whatever, I'll fix it in a minute. Let me just lay the rest down and then I'll fix it. And then my junior year, nothing really exciting happened at the beginning of the year. And then obviously my relationship, my toxic ass fucking relationship that I was in finally comes to an end. And I started talking to my current boyfriend, who I literally love with all of my fucking heart. Like, he is the best. But anyways, this is the end of today's episode of My Life is a Netflix Show. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm about to go call my boyfriend back and clean up my makeup, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.